What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, afternoon, pre-noon, no matter where you are in the world. I'm Hassan Piker in this house, and I'm broadcasting with you live from sunny California, Los Angeles. Folks, we're live and alive, and I hope all the boys, girls, and MBs are having a fantastic one because today's a beautiful day. Today's a wonderful day. Today is Newsday, Tuesday. Ladies and gentlemen, that's right. We got news out the wazoo. It's Newsday, Tuesday, folks. I'm live. I'm alive. It's Tuesday, September 16th, 2025. But yeah, Ken Leakenstein, exclusive. Leak message from Charlie Kirk assassin. Accused shooters politics is not what the government and media say. Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday. Thus, Tyler Robinson messaged his friends on Discord, seemingly apologizing for murdering Charlie Kirk. I'm sorry for all of this. I obtained this and other Discord chats. I've decided to publish. The legacy news media, as usual, refuses, along with new information I've learned about Robinson from the people who knew him best. I just saw the video. Holy shit. RIP, I guess. Bro didn't deserve to go out like that. Sad. Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all this. I'm surrendering through a sheriff friend in a... Wait, what the fuck? Oh, usernames are redacted because I know what his username is. This is not what his username is. I have his Discord username. This is not it. Anyway, it's not Zealous Monkey 55095. He changed it. Okay, Ken changed it for this article. He's saying this is the username. Wait, what the fuck? He has multiple. I have 2 Discord usernames. This is not the one I had. Wait, I'm gonna text him. Hold on. You had his username for Hoscord? I don't have... He wasn't in Hoscord, you fucking idiot. So Ken has one of the usernames, he says, and it's possible the New York Times is a different one, or all these other outlets have different usernames. Anyway, hey guys, I have bad news for y'all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all this. I'm surrendering through a sheriff friend in a few moments. Thanks for all the good times and laughs. You've all been so amazing. Thank you all for everything. Trump and company portray the alleged Utah shooter as left-wing and liberals portray him as right-wing. The federal conclusion will inevitably be that he was a so-called nihilist violent extremist, NVE. Meanwhile, the crackdown has already begun. As I reported yesterday, the country's practically ready to go to war. It's been so terrible, and seeing it from an inside perspective is so frustrating. A friend of Robinson since middle school told me, the childhood friend who asked not to be named for fear of threats, provided me with the above non-public photo of Robinson on a camping trip, a favorite activity of his, to corroborate their relationship. I think the main thing that's caused so much confusion is that he was always generally apolitical for the most part, the friend told me. That's the big thing. He just never really talked politics, which is why it's so frustrating. The picture that emerges bears little resemblance to the media version. Robinson, I am told, though quiet, was a well-liked person with a supportive family. The friend group who he interacted with on Discord, far from some kind of militia camp or Antifa bunker it's been portrayed as, represented a range of different political views, but mostly talked video games. Yesterday, FBI Director Kash Patel said in an interview that Robinson subscribed to left-wing ideology, citing his family's remarks to the investigators. But those close to Robinson say there was a lot his family didn't know about him. Their ideas are based on someone they didn't fully understand, the childhood friend told me. Though the family was generally supportive of Robinson, a claim corroborated by his mother's Facebook account, brimming with praise for Tyler, they didn't seem to know about his relationship with a transgender person named Lance, the friend said. When I asked if his family would have been accepting, the friend replied, I don't think even Tyler knew the answer to that question, which is why he kept it so low-key between themselves. Tyler's bisexuality, the friend said, was coupled with an openness on LGBT issues. But his wasn't some cookie-cutter lefty position on every other or even most issues, his friends say. Obviously, he's okay with gay and trans people having a right to exist, but also believes in the Second Amendment, the friend said, referring to the right to bear arms. The friend described, which again, that doesn't mean that this person is not like a leftist either, for the record. These kinds of things don't immediately reveal your position, okay? The friend described Robinson as a fairly typical of a young man from his age from Utah, someone who loved the outdoors, was a gamer, and into guns. To all of us, he just seemed like a simple guy who liked playing games like Sea of Thieves, Deep Rock Galactic, and Helldivers 2, loved to fish and loved to camp, the friend said. It didn't really seem like that's all he was about. Helldivers 2, Into the Unjust Deep Dive, one step closer to finding the DRG dwarves. The phrase inscribed on one of the bullet cases from the shooting, "Hey Fascist Catch," though widely reported to mean he was a man of the left, is in fact a reference to the Helldivers 2 game. The 3 arrows, initially believed by federal agents to be a reference to Antifa, is also a reference to the Helldivers. Private Discord messages shared with me by a friend of Robinson's can confirm Robinson wasn't some political martyr. A search of posts for Robinson's containing keywords like Biden and Trump turned up with just 1 hit each. The Trump post was a passing reference to the 2019 impeachment inquiry. The Biden one came on a day after the 2020 election, where he provided an update to another friend asking about the status of the vote count. An impeachment inquiry has been placed against Donald Trump. He could get booted out if they find he committed the shit he's accused of. Who's winning the election? You would know, one of his friends asked Tyler Robinson. Biden is in the lead electoral votes wise, but there are still some swing states that haven't finished voting, as well as most of the West Coast. Raw votes, Donald is in the lead by a little over 1 million votes. Who is probably going to win? He says, I'm not sure. When will we know? Not until pretty late, but we should have a pretty good idea by the end of the night, unless it's really close or something. He says, K. The childhood friend is a member of multiple Discord chats with Robinson. He described the group as trying to grapple with Robinson's motive, just like everyone else. Even the goodbye message he sent in one of our servers where Discord chats were hosted was so hard to believe. We all just thought, what a weird joke to make. Then the news came out and we were all calling each other saying, check the news. He said, yeah, I don't know what makes a person like him decide he's going to drive 260 miles upstate to shoot someone like Charlie Kirk, then come back like nothing happened. It leaves a lot of room for speculation and theories, which is why I think they're so rampant. Part of the confusion he attributes to Tyler's quiet nature. He was a really smart guy, but super hard to read, stone cold poker face, and you could always never be confident assuming anything. When I asked if he opened up to anyone, the friend replied, as far as we knew, he was open. As far as we knew, he was opened up. What does that even mean? Despite his verbal reticence, Robinson was not a loner, according to his friends. Unlike the stereotypical outcast shooter driven to violence. Oh, they're saying he was opened up. Like that's all they knew. They thought they knew him. He was apparently amiable and well liked. Everyone who knew him liked him. Remember when I said that even on a cursory glance of the shooter's like profile, he doesn't actually fit the bill in the same way that like Luigi Mangione doesn't fit the bill of stereotypical shooters demonstrating antisocial personality disordered behavior, loners, alienated, isolated from friends and family, sometimes finding themselves deep in the precipice of like online radicalization through like Discord servers all the way to Telegram and stuff like that. This guy straight up is just like as normal as you can be. This right here, the fact that this shooter is as normal as you can get, and someone who, as a matter of fact, had a bright future, as someone would say, that is unique when you look at the rest of the school shooters, mass shooters, people engaging in like any sort of violence like this. And I think that's reflective of the times changing. Like it's more so, yes, as the shadow says, an indictment on the state of affairs. You got weirdos doing violence. Obviously, there are things that we can legislate to try and limit the amount of ultra violence that we experience on a daily basis. But when you got like a radical, centrist, apolitical guy with a bright future ahead, all of a sudden when they're doing stuff like this, and if it's like even with Luigi as well, like people who are well liked, people who have a social life, all of a sudden when that happens, like that is interesting. Anyway, regardless of the horrible actions that took place, we must take this moment to remember that God is a living and loving God who loves all his children. A Discord post from another friend posted the day after the shooting reads, while Charlie Kirk's politics were not acceptable to some, I asked that we all say a prayer for him and his family during these confusing times. If this was like a Antifa Discord server and the way that these guys were presenting it, they'd be like, fuck you. God isn't real. There'd be like 8 people in there yelling about how even you invoking the name of God triggers me because I'm an atheist. And then they would like all yell at the person and probably find a new, they'd be like, we need a new splinter Discord group away from these freaks. You know, I think this is a pattern with white cis shooters lately. Middle class experience hardship, realize it's affecting their marginalized friends most, and not being able to process it. Is the IRL version of just found out about racism. That shit sucks. I mean, there's not really any other evidence of this. This is the first of its kind. I wouldn't even say that this the same with like Luigi Mangione, because Luigi Mangione obviously was like impacted, harmed by healthcare, like the privatization of healthcare. He was impacted personally. And then that is the reason why he allegedly planned the shooting of UHC CEO Brian Thompson. Hey, everyone. If you have not seen the news yet, Tyler's post above, it true. He was taken into custody earlier today for the shooting of Charlie Kirk. Regardless of the horrible actions that took place, we must take this moment to remember that God is a living and loving God who loves all his children. While Charlie Kirk's politics were not acceptable to some, I ask that we all say a prayer for him and his family during these confusing times. Love you all. God bless. The last message is religious in nature, which just goes to show the apolitical nature of the server. We all have pretty differing views on politics, the friend said of the Discord post. We all just exist as friends and just play stuff. Cat memes, weather updates, home improvement, and the odd Garfield reference populate Robinson's post. I'm going to eep pretty soon. Very eepy, he said in one post. An intentionally silly misspelling of the word sleep, a common Gen Z convention. He was bedbug general, bedbug inspector. Another John Arbuckle appears. It says gullible on the ceiling. Cat memes. Screenshot of another Discord chat where Robinson went by the username Bedbudge Inspector. Spring in New Hampshire. Spring in southern Utah. Had to replace a monitor that was on a wall mount. The top two mounting points needed to have a standoff, but the person who did the initial install didn't have them, so they just stacked like 8 washers to make a connection, lol. I know the feeling. The federal government, the Washington crowd, and corporate media based in Washington and New York see the country in wholly partisan terms. Republican versus Democrat, red versus blue, old media versus social media, liberal versus conservative, right versus left, straight versus gay, and on and on. Charlie Kirk's assassination in Utah should remind us of the actual diversity of the nation and of the cost of polarization that demonizes the other side. No one in Robinson's group is cheering or justifying the murder in any of the messages I reviewed. They're just struggling to understand what their friend did. But Washington has become obsessed with the Discord chat, convinced it's some kind of headquarters for the murder and cauldron of radicalization and conspiracy. Today, FBI Director Patel vowed to investigate anyone and everyone in that Discord chat. Yeah, this is also another unfortunate byproduct of having like extremely offline boomers or online boomers that are online in the worst ways possible because they like their only understanding is like Facebook posts or whatever. Trying to investigate this and trying to find why this took place, right? And they obviously are completely unequipped to do so. Like, it's crazy how mild this dude's Discord profile is. It is insane. I cannot comprehend it. Like, unless he was living a double life as like some kind of political radical, like the act that he took, the act that he engaged in is so radical that when you look at his fucking Discord profile, it gives me whiplash. Like, this is the most like normal fucking guy that did such an abnormal thing. What I see is a bunch of young people shocked, horrified, and searching for answers like the rest of the country. Yeah, remember what I talked about with like spontaneous murder? The stabbing that took place on the subway against the Ukrainian refugee. Like, that's a really terrifying thing for a lot of people because like it's truly, utterly senseless. It doesn't have any sort of like logical reasoning behind it. Like, there's no logical through line, right? This is not a justification of that, obviously, but there's no logical through line to the actions of the killer in that situation. So like, it terrifies people because it's truly and utterly unpredictable. And therefore, there's not even any sort of like, there's no security standard that you can apply in that circumstance. And this kind of feels like that in the way that like, if there was at least some sort of like logical through line here with respect to this person's actions, like, or his radicalization, there's at least something you can point to about where, like how he arrived at this position, right? How he arrived at this position. But there is nothing, it seems, at least from what we have seen from his profile, that indicates that. The roommate. Police interviewed Robinson's roommate, a biological male who was involved in a romantic relationship with Robinson. The roommate told police that the roommate received messages from Robinson about the shooting and provided those messages to police. I suspect that, I mean, this is the girlfriend who is trans. That's the reason why they're saying a biological male. This is also another one of those problems with like not correctly classifying things for political purposes that make it a little bit confusing. So you have to like read between the lines, I assume. What's the evidence this person is trans? Other people have stated this. Like, they look through the person's Reddit profile. Like, they were in a lot of DIY HRT subreddits, things of that nature. Before the roommate segment, they talked about how his family confronted him. Yeah. Robinson's mother stated the following to the police. On September 11th, the day after the shooting, Robinson's mother saw the photo of the shooter in the news and thought the shooter looked like her son. Robinson's mother called her son and asked him where he was. He said he was home. He was at home sick, and that he had also been at home sick on September 10th. Robinson's mother expressed concern to her father. The suspected shooter looked like Robinson. Robinson's father agreed. Robinson's mother explained that over the last year or so, Robinson had become more political and had started to lean more to the left, becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented. She stated that Robinson began to date his roommate, a biological male who was transitioning genders. This resulted in several discussions with family members. So, like, one thing you have to understand is, like, put yourself in the mindset of, like, a Mormon mom in fucking Utah. From their perspective, like, Tyler Robinson became woke. Okay, all of a sudden they think like he got radicalized into being woke, which is again a fairly normal position to be like, yeah, I don't, I think it's fine. I'm pro gay and pro trans rights. Like it doesn't matter to me. It's not that big of a fucking deal. Like the reason why that's being presented as woke is because the right want to make the most normal position that one can have, which is to not just like have unlimited hatred in your heart for trans and gay people. They want to present that as like a woke position. It's not a woke position. It's just like a normal position. Of course, for a Mormon MAGA family, probably not. How is having sex with a trans girl not woke? I mean, it's like asking me, how is having sex with a black girl not woke? Okay. Depending on which family you're talking about, they could consider that to be woke. Okay. That's my point. Also, there are mad chasers that are right wing as well. Alex Jones is a fucking chaser. Nick Fuentes is a chaser. What are we talking about? There's hella fucking right wing people that are chasers too. So it doesn't even like give you a consistent ideological profile in that regard. Also, this is Gen Z. Mad Gen Z is gay, bisexual, pansexual, whatever the fuck. Okay. So from that standard, even the most right wing motherfuckers on the Gen Z side are woke. Okay, but they're not. Nick isn't a chaser. He's just gay. Sorry, I fucked it up. He's not a chaser. He just into cat boys and went on a date with a cat boy because he's gay. Yeah. Now it's woke to fuck a woman. We may now fuck men. Exactly. It's woke, dude. It's woke. How are you gonna... Ew, dude. You're gonna fuck a pussy? Gross. You're gonna... What? Be around a woman? That is woke, dog. Real men fuck men.